While we were at the tow company, we had kind of a fun group. My assistant manager finally was Colin, who was a fun guy, and Luke wanted to go into the tow company all the time, and I didn't always have time. I was always doing other stuff, and so Colin kind of took over Luke's education in the mechanical field and stuff, and they grew to be great friends. One of the things that we did, that Colin and I did, was when the office manager turned 40, we filled her office with black balloons. We went to all the party stores in Las Vegas and bought all the black balloons they had. We had to get some gray ones because it was a lot more than, usually you just fill a car or something. We did her whole office. And we blew them up, not by, we got the compressor with a special nozzle on it, and we could just blow them up quick in time. We had a thing going. And we were there till about 2 a.m. the night before her birthday, filling her office with black balloons. And it was a great hit. When she came to work, she laughed a lot. And then our guard dog that was at the tow company, he started popping them all. He bit through an awful lot of them. We opened the door and they were all over the place. It was a lot of fun. Another thing we used to do is, that was the era of the greeting cards. You open the greeting card and it had a little battery in it, and it'd play a song, like a Merry Christmas or Happy Birthday song. And so we started setting these traps in people's desk drawers, so they opened the drawer and all of a sudden that greeting card would go off. Or it would be in a closet and they'd go in the other room and we'd go in their office and put it somewhere, hide it. And then they started hiding them in people's cars, and they hid some at Big Bird. So that was just, you expected that kind of stuff to happen. Well, one day, on an auction day, and when we had our auctions, I had a group of young teenagers, friends of the kids that came and helped us with the auction, and I used to pick them up and bring them in and then take them home after the auction on Saturday. So when we were having the auction, there was something wrong with Big Bird, and Colin had to fix it. He was the Mr. Fix-It, so he took it and had it a few hours before the auction, and we did the auction and everything, and he had it all fixed after. And I got in and was giving the guys a ride home, and I was driving through town. I went to somebody's house, and I looked around, and somewhere, you know how people always have their radios on really loud. There was someone right next to me that had the radio on loud and a song I didn't recognize. So I thought, well, okay, the light's going to change. So the light changed and went, and there they were again, just following me. So okay, well, then I had to turn and go down a couple other streets, and a little bit later, I stopped and I heard that the same song playing, except a different place. And I, man, what is going on here? This guy's chasing me all over town or what? And so I was driving again, drop another guy off, and it dawned on me. The Christmas card deal. I bet you they hid a Christmas card back under the seat or something. And that's what I'm hearing. I thought it was someone's car radio next to me. So I pulled over and stopped, and there was like 2 of the kids left, and I said, okay, we're going to search this car. We're going to find that greeting card. So we went under the seats, behind the seats, under the mat. We searched that truck inside out, and there was a lot to search. Could not find that Christmas card. So then I had a long stretch on the highway, and I didn't hear it. I thought, well, I guess the battery wore out or something. And I dropped the other kids off, and I thought I heard it, but I wasn't sure. Then I went home, and when I stopped at home, I could hear it again. So I thought, I can't find it. I'm just going to wait till tomorrow. So Monday morning I got up and went to work and tried not to slow down. I didn't hear it much. Drove straight in. Went to the tow company and I went to Colin. I said, Colin, where did you hide the card? I can't find it anywhere. He just started laughing. And I said, you got it, I can't stand it. He says, well, you just have to figure it out. And so I drove for a couple of days and kept hearing the noise, and I finally figured out that it goes on when the brakes go on. And so I noticed that I stepped on the brakes, and the song changed too. I couldn't figure out how did the song change? Put a different card in or something. So I started thinking about the brakes, and I finally went down and looked underneath the truck. And they had wired, you know, these ice cream trucks have the little well, they have these little boxes with a knob on it that you adjust the volume, and another one you turn what song you want on it. And he bolted that very carefully up under the truck and wired a wire to the brake lights. So it wasn't going all the time. When I put on the brakes, I could hear it. And I could hear it just barely. If I had my radio on, I couldn't hear it. I think I did turn the radio on for a while so I didn't have to hear it anymore. And when I saw that in there, I knew that was the greatest joke there ever was. I just laughed and laughed and went and told him I found it and he better take it off and that kind of stuff. And he says, okay, I'll take it off. Then I said, no, leave it on for a while. And I talked to Luke about this just a few days ago. And he said, Dad, you didn't hear the whole story. We had it in the garage, and Colin put that thing on there, and he tuned it exactly. He had it run with the windows up, with the windows down. He adjusted the volume with the radio on, the radio off, and he changed songs on you when you went to work. You didn't know he went out there and changed the songs. So he was still working the joke after a few days. I mean, that is one of the greatest practical jokes. It's harmless, but it was a lot of fun. And so then I used it with the younger kids. I said, hey, do you want to hear the... And so Big Bird would play songs and music for him for another couple of weeks before I finally had him disconnected. It was kind of fun.